Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Market Leader Live. This is Taj Dashaun, Vice President of Self-Published in 30 Days. And today I'm joined by none other than the man himself, the Chief Book Officer, Mr. Darren M. Palmer. What's going on, Darren?
Man, it's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be alive.
Hey, can we see that again, D? Can we see that trophy again?
Yeah. We got that trophy or whatnot. I got my presidential colors on today. I didn't want to let the world know, but I think I'm gonna run for president after last night.
Oh, yeah,
So
we
I
need
think,
you.
I think I'm running for president right now. But don't tell nobody else that I told y'all that.
That's right. We'll keep it between us, just the
Yeah,
family.
just between us.
That's right. That's right. Yes, sir. Well, we wanted to jump on here today because Darren and I were having a great discussion this morning and thought that it would be great to share what we were talking about with all of you guys, everybody who's tapping in live or just listening to the recording. And that's something that we've seen recently. I don't know if it's just been a topic over the past few weeks or whatever's going on. And this is with folks going into business for themselves, or they might be first time authors. And that's the fear of success, and we often hear people talk about the fear of failure. And the first thing people tell you is, you feel the fear, but you do it anyway. But something I think comes along later in life after you overcome that initial fear of failure and get going in whatever it is that you're pursuing is the fear of success once things start to take off for you. So what do you think about that, Darren?
Well, I think you're bringing up some great points when you're talking about the fear of success. Um, I have a philosophy that I've seen that I share with those who I do consulting with, that they repel success. And, so I'm like, wait a minute, Darren, what are you talking about? Repelling success. Yes, exactly what I meant, repelling success. So they find ways to self-sabotage themselves because of their limited beliefs. So you can only go as far as your self-identity or how you view yourself. So if you have a poor relationship with your self-image, then you will never go beyond that self-image. It's similar like to if whether it's a girl, if it's a girl, was male or female, so to speak, and you might see somebody that they might have a lot of weight on them, but then they lost a lot of weight, but they still had the mentality that they had when they had a lot of weight on them when it comes to dating, sometimes and things like that. And so a lot of us are carrying different type of weight around from the former situation that we were in, whether it was that abusive relationship, whether it's that bankruptcy, was that failed deal or that partnership that went wrong. So we carry that type of baggage into other arenas in our lives, and we're wondering why we're not having the type of success that we want to have. And that's because we have a fear of success. So that's a great topic, Taj, that you brought up, man, fear of success. But I think that the key to it would be awareness, being aware of it. And so when you're aware, you'll be able to pivot and make the necessary changes.
That's right, D. Well said. I think, and one of my favorite sayings of yours is, "You want to be big time, but you think it is little."
Yeah.
You
You want to
know,
be that's kudos to my grandmother, rest in peace. She said you want to be big, but little got you. That's some good old
mm,
country slang right there. But that it makes a lot of sense or whatnot. You want to be big, but little got you. Little think,
mm,
not taking advantage of opportunities, and or you don't want the responsibility. You want the reward, but you don't want the responsibility that goes with it.
right.
What I'm saying? So that's great. That's great.
hmm I think that I love how you kind of tied it into a lot of that comes from baggage from the past. Because you've even given me some coaching around that before, where it's like I overcame my initial fear of failure, but then I'm in this point where everything is starting to take off for me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I don't know if I can handle all this. I got so much on my plate. I'm running a business. I got contract positions. Now I'm the vice president of a company, and I kind of was getting into this place where the fear of success was starting to creep up on me. And I think that it could even be more dangerous than the fear of failure if it's not kept in check. Because the fear of failure is something that I feel like you overcome maybe one time when you're starting a certain venture. But the fear of success, that's something that could come up time and time again. That's something you might have to battle every single day. Has there been a time in your life where, you know, you felt that fear of success creeping in at all?
Yeah, definitely. You'll do it because I believe that the fear of success will come that way because you start thinking to yourself, I think it's the perspective of the fear of success. So let me preface it by saying there are people that don't have any problem with success. I think the hindrance comes far as the ideologies or the way that we've been brought up or the way we've been taught, that we feel like it's a sense of scarcity. So by me having means, Taj, that you don't have. So some of us connect that psychologically to success, that if I have something, then I got a negative connotation when it comes to success in a certain area. So I'm not able to celebrate or be excited about my success, or I'm not willing to take the steps to be successful because I feel like if I have a wife, then that's keeping somebody else from having a wife because they don't have a wife yet. So I don't want to say anything about having a wife because they don't have that type of relationship or they don't have children yet. Well, that might not even be something that they want, but we tend to start putting on the others our limited beliefs. And it's the same way with success. Well, I don't want to say anything about a house because you hear people say it. Well, I don't want to seem big time. Or I don't want to seem like I'm downing someone. No, if you had a win, you had success, it is what it is. But also, I want to address what you brought up earlier about the overwhelm, the fear of overwhelm. You will only be overwhelmed when you're not operating your purpose.
Wow.
Let me say that again. You will only be in overwhelm because overwhelm comes from a place of frustration. It comes from a place of feeling like that you don't have the resources that you need. So if you are operating from a place of purpose, which leads to passion, the passion is the fuel that leads to profits. So if I'm operating in my purpose, I'm not going to ever get tired because I'm being fueled by the passion of seeing lives change. So I'll never get tired of seeing lives change. And so those are the things that you got to understand. But if the old Zig Ziglar quote, if I help enough people get what they want in life, I'm going to get everything that I want in life. And so when you operate from that place, not saying that you don't need rest. So I know that I feel it right now. Somebody's taking this out of context. This is what we're talking about, overcoming the fear of success. Some of you will, don't you get tired? And don't you need a break? And I don't think that that's right. You need 8 hours of sleep. Now, I'm not saying that you have to miss sleep. I'm not saying that you don't have to have rest. I'm not saying that you don't kick it with family, friends, and loved ones. But when you are fueled by what you do, you're excited to do it. It's not work to you. And so, of course, you need a breather. Of course, you need to do something else. You want to use your skill set to do other things that allow for you to be creative and have spontaneity in your life. But I think that's the thing that you want to look at when you start prioritizing and also not getting into that gerbil mentality, Taj, of just doing. I think that's the other issue is that some of us are doing things that we think will lead to success. So we're always preparing, waiting for somebody to give us that attaboy, attagirl that we're successful instead of operating and doing the things that we need to do. So I got somebody who sent me a message today. And if you listen to this, you know I'm talking about you. And I want you to hear this. But you're finding every way not to do what you're supposed to do. You're looking for another course. You're looking for another training. You're doing everything besides doing the work of what you have been told to do that's going to allow for you to be successful. You're saying that you're overwhelmed, but you're steady adding something else that's random to the plate, hoping that that's going to get you the solution to your answer instead of you just sitting down and doing step one, which is going to lead to step 2 and 3 and so on.
Do you think that that's another way of the example you just gave of the person who shall remain unnamed, who is I think we call those folks self-improvement junkies?
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
Do you think that is an? I'm sorry. What'd you say, D?
I said they're fiending. Just like an addiction. You know what I'm saying? It's an addiction. You know, there's addiction. I need another certification. I need another degree. Well, you hadn't did nothing with the last 3 or 4 certification degrees that you got. So why are you still going? I mean, it's What's the meaning of insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, but you have to implement something. You got to do something.
Right. Do you think that that's another way of fear of success manifesting itself, where this person is in the mindset, or people who think like this are in the mindset of, if I just do all these different things, then I'll get there, rather than doing what they deep down know they need to do, or maybe following through on one particular thing and seeing that all the way through, that could potentially take them to success?
I think if we're not careful, and I want to make sure before I say this, because I got a lot of great friends in education. This is one of the greatest disservices that education has done for us by the school system that we got right now, because we think that we have been programmed and trained that we got to wait for somebody else to say that it's good before we know that it's good.
Mm.
So if my teacher or my professor don't tell me it's good, you know how many people that the professor or the teacher told them that they had a silly idea, and that silly idea made them millions and gave them the quality of life that they wanted to have?
Mm.
So, you got to just think of this. I'm going to use Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was told that he was silly, man. He had a project that he did in college or whatnot at LSU, where the professor told him, man, hey, you need to come up with a marketing idea. And he was just like, man, he's seen the old, this is dating myself a little bit, but I was real young and you weren't even around, Taj, when this came out. But it was the old, like, Spud McKenzie commercial. Like, Spud McKenzie was the dog that was he was a cool dog on all the commercials and things like that during the time. So, Spud McKenzie had little dolls, paraphernalia everywhere where you could pick up stuff, with the Spud McKenzie things or whatnot. Similar to what you got with Disney with Mickey Mouse. You got that that goes along with that brand. So Shaq, in the project created some stuff, that, okay, hey, I see these guys going to the NBA. I want to be a businessman. And so I want to make sure that I build a brand that I'm able to do like with Spud McKenzie. He had cups, he had necklaces, he had keychains. He wanted to create a brand like that. And the professor told him, no, great job, continue to put a lot of work in this, but he failed. He said, why did he fail? Because big men don't get the deals. And at that current time, big men didn't get the deals when it came to NBA players or whatnot. But Shaq was able to redefine that particular position and move forward on what he knew that he needed to do. And so going back to your question, I think that some of those who are out there, they're looking at their peers, they're looking at their colleagues to approve them, to affirm them and say that this is right. But they're waiting on someone who had never walked that path to give them direction. So how can that person be able to guide you? Because their thinking is not going to be the same that what it takes for you to be successful in another arena. So that's just what it is. If you put it like, okay, if you're looking at being in shape, if I'm eating hot Cheetos, watching reruns of Bonanza, I'm probably not the person that you need to hear that advice from. Okay, so if I just had a toxic relationship and I'm telling you, bro, no, man, hey, just leave her alone, man. Why don't you just do yourself? Why don't we just kick it? Well, I'm not going to be the best person to give you advice because I just got out of a bad relationship. So I want you to kick it with me instead of somebody else that you want to kick it with, because I'm hurt or I'm scarred from that. And so those are the same things that if there are people around us, parents, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, children. It's people who are telling you, come on, man, you can't do this. Do you know how crazy it looked for Colonel Sanders walking around, old white dude with a jerry curl with a white suit on, like he just stepped out the plantation talking about selling fried chicken. He couldn't do that in the world that we live in right now, but he did it and he was able to hit a home run, so you got to just do what you got to do.
Right. Just do you. Just
do you. Yeah.
I love it.
Bow tie and all.
Right. Colonel Sanders might get canceled today, but where would we be?
Man, he'll get beat up. He'll get beat up out there rocking around with fried chicken, asking somebody they want with a plantation outfit on. It wouldn't work out good for Colonel Sanders today. But at the same time, it was genius behind it. He built a brand. And so I'm about this. Find ways to learn from people. You don't have to agree with everyone or their method or not even be in that type of business. But if I don't know you, I can't flow you. So we all know the guy with the bow tie and the jerry curl with the white hair with the plantation suit on. And it's even in China now. People are even getting married because it's more high end in China and Beijing now in Shanghai. It's where people even go married because the KFCs are so nice. So that's a wedding destination. So if you ever get married, Taj, we'll set up a nice restaurant in Beijing for you to put your tie on and go get married in Beijing at the local KFC.
You know, I don't know about all that, D, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
I went
appreciate.
too far. I went too far,
Oh
bro.
no,
I'm sorry. I'm futuristic. I've been called a visionary. I'm sorry, but
right,
if you're
right.
in China and you're thinking about getting married, we'll stop by the chapel over there at the KFC and get you taken care of, and we might get a 3-piece dart while we're there.
Yeah, I'll take you up on the 3-piece dart, but I
Okay,
don't
all
know
right,
about
then,
the,
all right.
the marriage ceremony. We'll have to discuss that offline, you know. You know, hey, but D, I don't want to overlook something that you said a minute ago, because for me, honestly, when I think about fear of success, to me, I'm the type of person where I've never really been influenced by other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever I did something, I just went for it, you know, and I assumed the risk. I know that anytime you try to do what is more is not always. I just wanted to read Stephanie Palmer, the Grammar Queen's comment real quick. More is not always
George
better.
Johnson in here too. George Johnson. We can't forget the sales guy that's aka the sales champion. Why Sales Network. George Johnson. I love the Colonel's story. Yes, I do too.
Legendary. The hot stuff.
Come on,
Joyce got me cracking up right now.
Yeah. The drill. Come on, Joyce. You know how we roll on this show. But go ahead, Taj, with what you wanted to share, what you wanted to bring up, man.
I just wanted to share, like, back to what you were saying about other people around you and how they can deter your path to getting where you want to go or your road to success. Because I never experienced that personally. I had people, you know, tell me, "Are you sure you don't want to go get a safe job?" Or "Why are you trying to do this? There's no money in that." You know, people looked at me like I was crazy with a lot of things that I've been trying to do over the past few years. So I haven't been impacted by that, but I know a lot of people are. Back to what you said about people not necessarily or feeling like they have to play small so they don't offend people, or even being affected by other people telling them that they can't do something and they take it to heart. Well, you know, like you said, because my mom, and this is not me, I'm just giving an example, you know, because my mom said I couldn't start this business, then she's probably right. I can't do it.
Yep.
But then again, mom's never had her own business. You know what I mean? Mom's working a job that she was unhappy with for X amount of years. So do you have any, I think it would be good to hear from you, because obviously you've been so great at this, just tuning out that noise and carving out your own path. Do you have any advice for people who may be kind of sensitive to other people's opinions, especially their loved ones or people who are around them? Anything you could tell them to tune that out and just focus on their own path?
I'm gonna give you some advice that my mother shared with me when I was a little boy that resonated. It took me a while to get it when I was younger, but when I got it, I got it. And she always would share with me, Darren, use your own head. Use your own head. If you're going to get in trouble for something, use your own head. Don't get into a situation and you didn't use your own head. Do what you know to do that's right. Use your own head. So I'm going to give you an example. My mom, me and my brother, she gave us, we had a little something at school or whatnot. We looked and they said, well, you can go. And we went to a local, eye doctor or whatnot. And we went and they checked us for our eyesight, the whole nine. So they decided to give us some glasses, right? And do some glasses. So I checked the glasses out. My brother did, but I noticed, wait a minute. I wore those glasses a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, these glasses are affecting my eyes, man. Like, it's making my eyes worse. So I stopped wearing the glasses. Now I was young. Now my mom, she didn't really appreciate that. This before, you just taught the kids with, the right tone and all that right there. And you couldn't wear nobody out, it'd be child abuse and all that right now. So that was a dangerous time for me to make that decision, especially when she didn't use the money to get these glasses, but I wouldn't wear the glasses. But my brother, I used my own head. I was like, hey, y'all can do whatever y'all need to do with me, but I know these glasses ain't helping me. They making my eyes worse. But my brother, he kept wearing them because he was doing what my mama told him to do. And then he ended up being legally blind and had to go get LASIK eye surgery later on. But, I'm still seeing 20/20 and winning. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that you gotta use your own head. When something is in you to do what you need to do, you gotta do that thing. And you gotta realize that it's not anything against anyone else, but your vision is not their vision. So that's something that I had to learn. So for those who are tuned into this, don't get mad at those who are around you. You just got to make the decision that works best for you and I've shared this before on previous episodes, everyone else will act like Hines and Hunts and they'll catch up. But you have to be willing to lead in a time of discomfort. You have to be willing to lead when it's uncertainty. And you got to be able to lead when it hasn't manifested in your life yet. And that's the tough part, because you are desiring to have the results because you see it so vividly. But on the outside of what others are looking at, they can't see any, they can't even have a smell, get a whiff, or even just a scent of you being successful at what you're doing. So you have to be willing to do that if you're going to have any level of success. So let me just give a few examples, because I don't want to just throw this out myself. It's easy for us to look at, let's just look at a Tyler Perry. It would make sense that it took over 7 years or whatnot for that one Broadway play to be, not Broadway, it wasn't Broadway, but that ghetto play to be able to take off. But he stuck with it, saving money up every year, and it didn't work out, and being willing to go all in. Even his mom and others were saying, hey, she would have been satisfied with him just having a government job, have a few little benefits, things like that, but he had greater in him. And so he was willing to go all in when it didn't make sense to everyone else. So that's just one example. Like, I'm looking at Taye Diggs or whatnot, the actor. Some people look at Taye Diggs and when he did, when How Stella Got a Groove Back, that classic, film there. But people were so in love with Taye Diggs at that time. He was like, the hot, sensual chocolate, what the ladies were calling Taye Diggs. They were loving Taye Diggs at that time. But they didn't like Taye Diggs when he was the waiter at the local restaurant when they came in from the club, and he was sitting there. He was Taye that brother really need to go get a real job. That's who he was. What are you sitting up here in Waffle House or something at a restaurant, at a diner, and you could be having a real job? You probably need an edge, probably hadn't had a haircut, but at the same time, he had to stick with that dream. And even the woman he was with, or who's with his wife, she was with him while he was talking about being an actor. So it's so many other women that missed out on that opportunity to be with Taye Diggs, but are you willing to be with that person when they believing in that dream and going through it? Or are you caught up in not having delayed gratification because it's more easier for you to tell your family, friends, and loved ones that this person works here and there and they're able to take you out to eat on Saturday night and to go watch a movie instead of having a bigger plan on how to be able to create an enterprise that's going to be able to create generational wealth for years to come? So that's the question that we got to ask ourselves.
Mm. Yeah, that's two great examples, Darren. Frederick Brooks said, all it takes is one day to catapult you 10 years ahead. I don't know about y'all, but that's motivation in itself. Woo!
Yes, sir. That boy Fred, he just looked crazy, but he got sense. Yeah, he got sense. That's my boy Fred. They were not Louisiana on, So yeah, I think he's from Shreveport.
Shreveport.
No,
man.
I'm just joking.
Oh, I know somebody from Shreveport.
Those in Louisiana know what I'm talking about. If you say something to somebody down south Louisiana, if you say they're from north, don't get mad at me, my Shreveport people. But at the same time, if you deal with people in Cajun country or whatnot that's below, it's kind of a little beef in Louisiana with the north part of the state compared to the southern part of the state. So, it's an inside joke, but Fred get it. But yeah, that's great content right there. That one decision. Hey, let's just look at what we're doing, Taj. One decision by someone that we knew. Now, all of a sudden, you're the VP of the company, man. You got your book out. You're hosting shows. You got events and things like that that's coming out. All off one connection. So that's an example there as well. What Fred is talking to us about. For those who thinking that we got off subject, we're right in line with what we're talking about on here about making sure that you don't allow the fear of success to get in your way. Because, Todd, you could have easily said, no, I'm not going to take that opportunity. I'm not familiar with it. I don't want to do this. Even though you're saying you want success, you could have repelled success, but you chose to step in it and take it one day at a time and let me focus on getting better on a daily basis.
That's right. Yes, sir. And the fear of failure was there at first, of course. And then fear of success popped up right after that. So I had to brush that to the side immediately. I think it takes the same muscle to overcome fear of failure as it does to overcome fear of success. It's the same muscle. It's really just getting into action anyway, no matter what's going on around you. And I really like the example you brought up with Tyler Perry, too, because I remember back in the day where he used to have the bootleg tapes and all that. That's how I found out about it.
That's it.
I found out from the bootleg tapes. The next thing you know, he's got his own production company and I remember how crazy everybody went when he hit the big screen. Like, wow, he's
Mhm.
actually at the box office. Like, he made it.
That's
He put
it.
the work in, and that's like what you said about using your own head. I want to come back to that too, because for all the folks who really are hung up on other people's opinions, you're gonna resent those people if you don't go for what you really want to go to. It's not even about like tuning them out. It's if you listen to them and play it safe, you're gonna resent those people because you're always gonna be wondering, what if I just would have gone for this vision I have for myself, but I listened to my mom, or I listened to my girlfriend, or I listened to my boyfriend, and I didn't go for it. And now I'm sitting here doing something that I really didn't enjoy when I could have been out of it if I just would have went for it. So don't end up resenting people because you're listening to them and staying stuck where you're at instead of going for what's on your heart or using your own head, like Darren said.
Wow, man, that's number five right there, Taj, what you sharing, because that's so true. I've had some conversations with some people, who are close to me in my inner circle. And I had to talk with them and told them, like, hey, you're going to have this talk with your spouse, or you're going to have to do what you need to do. Because if you don't, you're going to end up being in a tight situation with that person that loves you and you love them. You've spent so many years with one another. But if you don't have this talk, you're going to get into an area where you are not able to look at them the right way. It's going to become toxic because that person you love and care about so much, you're going to look at them as the person that kept you away from your dreams and your goals. And if you don't think that that's true, that's why you have people they call them like grumpy old men. Sometimes they say that, or people that you like, oh man, that woman was bitter. Like, why she just got this? Because these are people who listen to others. They were trying to please everybody else instead of finding ways to please themselves in certain areas. And I'm not saying just go get buck wild and not have any responsibilities. I'm not saying that. But when you have a calling to do something, you have to move on it. Guess what? If it don't work, you can always go back to what you've been doing. That's always going to be there. See, that's the thing. That's what I used when I moved out and stepped out. You have to do it because you can always go back and apply and get another job. You can always apply, but if you know that you were supposed to try for that particular sports team, even if you didn't get the scholarship, if you know that, you need to try to work this relationship out, even though y'all went through a tough time. If you know that you might need to relocate to be able to take advantage of an opportunity for a company to work within that company or go back and get that degree, whatever that thing is for you, you can't hinder yourself and find every reason because it's never going to be a great time. It's never going to be a great time to get married. It's never going to be a great time to have kids. It's never going to be a great time to have a business. It's never going to be a great time to be in shape. It's never going to be a great time to work on your mental health. You just have to do it. Do like Nike and just do
it. That's right, D. We got to read this from Fred Brooks. He said, once you get around the right energy, you will feel like you can accomplish anything. And that fear starts to diminish as faith kicks in. Bars.
Come on, man. Fred, he fired up. Fred, I don't know if it's the gumbo or what, but he fired up today. It fired up. I know he fired up. It must be gumbo because the Saints didn't win, but that's a whole nother podcast. But it's saying I got people in the office who like the Saints. Sorry about that. But anyway, Ty, this is a great podcast, man. I love the energy. I love the vibes that you have in here, man. The boys, even though LSU lost too, but yeah. It's just.
Man, you let Fred have it.
Yeah, it's just love, just a little love. That's all, just a little love. And then I think too, Taj, speaking of that, when we talk about love, the tough love is being able to know once you have the right lens. Don't forget this: your lens and your language will take you where you want to go. Your lens and your language. If you're speaking life to yourself, whatever you focus on, magnify. So if you're speaking life, you will have life opportunities. If you're speaking death, what do I mean by that? Oh, I can't do that. That ain't gonna work for me. If I had the money, it would be nice if I had the money to do that. Man, I'm gonna have to wait another 10 or 15 years before I can do something like that. Some people ain't got it like that. See, that type of thinking, you miss the opportunities to get the resources because you're speaking death on yourself. It's not actually anybody else hindering you, but if you're not focused on where you're desiring and where you want to go, you won't even take advantage of those opportunities. And that goes back again to that fear of winning, because Some people justify them being where they are and not winning in life. They justify it by feeling like, I don't want to get my expectations up so high, so I won't be let down. So the easy way for them to find a comfort zone with the dysfunction that they have with the limited beliefs is setting the bar low and convincing themselves by what they're saying with their language and by how they're looking at life with their lens to make sure that they justify where they are. If not, it's unbearable to think that they're not doing what they're supposed to do so they can justify it. So that's why their environment start being around others who make excuses for them as well. Well, you tried. Well, it's all right. Well, that's not meant for everybody. Well, I'm just good where I'm at. You know, I'm from the South. So, you know, long as the Lord in heaven love me, I'm all right. I don't need nothing else. He done gave you the opportunity for the whole world, but you still crying and lying to yourself about, I'm all right as long as the Lord loves me. Well, do you tell your kids the Lord love you? So ain't no sense you learning how to read. Oh, Jesus loves you. You know, it's gonna be all right. God loves you. Somebody. You somebody. That what Jesse Jackson said. You somebody. So at the same time, you know, what are we doing? There's no sense in you going to college because Jesus loves you. But we make excuses for our goals and our dreams because Jesus loves me. Or let me be politically correct on here in the time we're in, or the universe, or or the vortex, whatever you into. Whatever excuse you got, what we're trying to tell you, whether it's Buddha, Muhammad, whoever you want to call, stop making excuses is the point of this show.
That's right. That's right. And don't let that fear of success hold you back.
There you go, man.
That's it. Any closing remarks, D? You just finished up with some bars right now. I got nothing left.
Oh, well, hey, man. Come on, preacher. Come on.
I came to preach.
Fred. They got Darren made a good point about timing. He said, hell, I wasn't prepared for triplets, but it's working. It's a blessing. There you go. There you go. You know, as Eminem said, you only got one shot, and he made the best out of it. That's it. All right, then. But this has been a great episode of Market Leader Live. So we thank you, Taj Dashaun, VP of Self-Publishing 30 Days, for coming on. You'll be hearing more from my guy, Taj. Look for us. Make sure that you go to selfpublishing30days.com to find out more information about the company. Make sure that you follow Taj on the social media platforms as well. Also, us too as well. If you need connection, if you need advice, whether it's books or it's business, or those who are looking at, you know, crossing over from the sports arena, from athletes or whatnot, being entrepreneurs, or you just want to grow in your corporate arena or whatnot by leveraging your skill set that you had, please just reach out to us or a member of our team. But once again, until next time, if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.